And one of them is Theoharis, who is the tourism minister for Greece and is on the line now. Good morning to you.
Good morning. Good morning.
What's the plan, insofar as one can have a plan? What's the plan that you would like the tourism ministers to adopt?
Well, the issue that's really very, very important as we start thinking about the way out of the crisis, obviously different European countries are on different parts of the cycle, but all of us are starting to think about how to restart the economic engines. The important part of the plan is how to allow travel and how to do this in, of course, a responsible way. Everyone, and especially Greece, who has shown leadership in the way that we dealt with this crisis, we want to continue doing so as we take the risk of opening parts and sectors of the economy.
Right, so
we need
just to
rules.
make it clear, you want people to come to Greece this summer?
Yes, we do want people to come to Greece. Of course, we will take precautions in terms of the requirements before traveling, but also in terms of the way that we travel, the way that we stay, and in the beach beds, etc. The social distancing rules will apply, but we have welcomed tourists for more than 50 years. We want to continue showing the kind of hospitality that we're very much known for.
So what do you say to British tourists then, who either have holidays booked or are thinking of still trying to come to Greece? What can you say to them about how safe they will be?
Well, as I said, we have shown leadership in the way that we dealt with the medical side of this crisis. We have much flatter curves than any country in Europe, or perhaps even in most of the countries of the world. So we will not change tactics as far as that is concerned. So we will continue taking very important precautions, but we will do so while still allowing the economic activity. So you should feel safe. Greece is a safe country, and in many cases, much safer, I'm sorry to say, than your own country.
Yeah, and for that reason, you will be very keen, and the Greek people will be very keen, that you protect yourselves from people coming in. And you mentioned there social distancing actually on site, as it were, in the resort. Are you suggesting as well that people should need to have a negative test for coronavirus before they get on a flight?
Well, we're discussing this with our epidemiologist these days as we currently speak. It is very likely that we will have some requirements before traveling. But of course, this will be done so that everyone has a peace of mind when they travel and when they're staying abroad, that they will not come in contact with, as much as is humanly possible, with other people infected with the virus.
Yeah, so one of the things you're discussing, I understand you haven't taken any decisions yet, one of the things you're discussing is some way of testing people before they get on a flight.
Yes, and we're also hoping that, by the time the season starts, which is going to be, of course, much later than normal times, the health technology will have, come up with even better, and every way there comes better solutions to those problems, better tests and more accurate and cheaper as well.
We've had a very blunt warning from the boss of Ryanair recently saying that if there is social distancing enforced on planes, then they're just going to go out of business. They're not going to be able to do it. Are you also considering how to get people safely on their journeys across Europe during your discussions?
Yes, this is another reason why we need stricter rules for someone to travel in order to allow a bit more leeway while traveling. There is the point of view that says that the kind of rules that we normally use for public transport, for example, the underground, that those are the rules that we should be extending to airlift and the planes.
Right, so we're talking about masks and staying as far away from people as you can, but not necessarily simply having fewer people on a plane.
Yes, well, without going into details, in the sense that the experts will come up with the suggestions and the proposals, but this is one of the ways to fix this.
And if we don't fix it, if it's not fixed, the impact on Greece would be huge, wouldn't it?
Well, of course, and this is not just the impact on Greece, it's the impact on Europe as a whole. Tourism is 10% of the GDP of the whole European GDP. Europe is the most touristically developed region of the world. It's very, very important. And of course, there's a number of other industries that depend on tourism to supply the required products and materials, etc., etc. So this is an issue which is not just for the economies of the South. It's really about Europe as a whole.
Theoharis, the Tourism Minister for Greece, thank you very much for talking to us this morning.